Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Stephen with a PH sent me notes that Steve check out the story from the New York Post. Jared Downing wrote, Disney mega fans dropped $400,000 only to lose legal battle to get back into the Elite Club 33 after they're banned for boozy behavior. Club 33 is an elite club that's run by Disney, and it costs a lot to get in. Once you're in, it's kind of exclusive. The pair of Disney superfans dropped $400,000 in an attempt to get back into that club after they were banned over alleged public drunkenness. Someone at the club said, I believe the husband was drunk. You're out. Now, here's the thing. It costs $31,000 a year to be a member, but also there's a waiting list to get in. So these two lost their lawsuit last week when an Orange County, California judge said that Disney was within its rights to decide who they let in and who they do not. Club 33 membership offers access to VIP lounges, special events. Sometimes celebrities hang out there, and there are other perks. And this is at Disney resorts around the world. The couple spent 20 years raising the money to join and another 10 years on the club's waiting list. In the 5 years they were members, they visited Disney's 2 Anaheim, California theme parks 60 to 80 times each year from their home in Arizona, shelling out an estimated $125,000 doing that. So along the way, they apparently met some famous people such as Kurt Russell and Dick Van Dyke. Meanwhile, the husband owns a golf course, and he said losing the legal battle set his retirement back 5 years, but he has no regrets. His wife had vowed to keep fighting, telling the LA Times she would sell a kidney to raise the funds for another legal challenge. Now, you just lost. I mean, what besides appealing, you just can't file another lawsuit. It turns out that the disagreement started because there were claims that the husband was drunk one time when they were at the club. An attorney for Disney told the court that the man's actions cost his wife of 40 years her lifetime dream of having access to Club 33. He claims he wasn't drunk, although he admits he had a few beers, and a glass of wine or two during a full day of fun at Disney's California Adventure Park. He said he was wobbly, but it can be attributed to a vestibular migraine, a condition he's had for decades, a vestibular migraine. The next day, he and his wife were shocked to learn that their membership had been revoked. Now, Club 33 is as secretive as it is exclusive. The original clubhouse in Anaheim, where the couple spent their vacations, is marked only by a small plaque reading 33. Entrances to others are tucked away in obscure corners of the parks, and they have them like in Tokyo, Shanghai, and in Orlando. Clubs are famous for letting elite members mingle in opulent parlors and dining rooms, enjoying meals cooked up by world-class chefs. And of course, the identities of the elite members are kept strictly confidential. Couple asked the court for $10,500 in unused membership time, plus $231,000 in compensation for the 7 years they've spent on the Club 33 blacklist. So I'm thinking, by just doing some math here, it looks like this happened a while back, and the lawsuit just finally got resolved, at least at the trial court level. The man said he and his wife are still looking at their options to force Disney to let them back into the happiest place on earth. And I think they're still allowed on the grounds of the parks. They're just not allowed in Club 33. He says, all these relationships we've developed over the years were centered around Disneyland. All these people we know from different parts of the country, that's where we met. We would do everything together, and we lost that. We lost all of that. And so, it comes down to, if you go to court, you have to have a legal theory in your lawsuit. If you file a lawsuit that doesn't contain legal theories, it'll get thrown out. Failure to state a claim is something they'll actually say, well, we understand you are aggrieved, you are unhappy, but you need to have a legal theory to explain why you've been wronged by somebody else. So you start thinking, okay, what are the possible arguments here? Breach of contract? Well, go read the contract and see what it says. I'd be shocked if a club like this, after all these years, didn't have rules that they said you had to follow. I mean, they can't have a secretive club that costs this much to get into with celebrities hanging out there and no rules. I have a sneaky feeling that there's a contract that says, pay this money, you get into the club, and you must follow these rules. And I'm willing to bet, and again, I haven't seen the rules because I'm not a member. Or am I? The rules probably state violation of these rules could result in all kinds of things, including your expulsion from the club. So if the rules say that, you're out. Now, people might, for the sake of argument, go, but Steve, is there any way, if you got to make up the facts, like say in a hypothetical, is there any way that you could come up with facts where the club kicks you out and you get back in? Well, let's suppose they kicked you out based on the color of your skin. That might do it. But there's no allegation of that here, right? And so I'm not sure what the legal theory was that they were pursuing here to say, we got kicked out of the club and we want back in. Now, the man says that he was wobbly on his feet. And he's wobbly because of the vestibular migraine. And they say, no, we kicked him out for drunken behavior. Now, the question is, does he have the right to a hearing on that? And that, I suppose, might make an interesting argument if you said the guy was wobbly on his feet. It was a medical condition. Perhaps we're talking about something, I don't know, like the ADA or something. And the real question then becomes, was that what happened? Because he also admitted that he had a few beers. Now, I've spoken to, in my professional career, hundreds of cops. Hundreds. I'm not exaggerating, because I've handled hundreds and hundreds of traffic tickets. And in almost all of them, I spoke to the police officer in an attempt to work out a deal with the officer and the prosecutor. And ask any cop, because I have, how many times they've heard the phrase, a few, in response to, how many beers did you have? I had a few. Now, interestingly, most people, if push came to shove, could actually give you the exact number or a ballpark that's closer than a few. Because a lot of people would think, well, a few might be as little as 3, maybe. Or is a few 8? Is 8 a few? 8's a lot. And of course, we all know that people say a few because it sounds like it could be less. And in their minds, it is more, but they think there's a gray area now because it's not a specific number. And so the real question is, if in fact you had litigated the issue, was he drunk that night? If you actually got to that point. You'd bring in witnesses, presumably, who saw his behavior. And then you'd also try to determine how much he'd had to drink. Interestingly, being at a club, you may have to pay for some of the things you drink, and there might be receipts showing how many beers the man had, but it's a losing battle, suing to get back into a club when the club alleges that you have broken their rules. That is a tough fight. So when I saw the headline, my first thought was, I wonder what legal theory he was suing under. And I don't know. So I suspect they're going to say that it was something like a breach of contract and that the rules say they could be kicked out for breaking the rules, but that they hadn't broken the rules. That's probably the argument they made, but they lost. And they're out $400,000 in legal fees, which to me boggles the mind, but they did that and they said it was worth it, even though they lost. So you got to admire the true believers who will go fight the fight, and even if they come out on the wrong end of it, say, you know something? We do it all over again. So, Stephen of the PH, thanks for sending that. Jared Downing wrote it. New York Post ran it. Disney mega fans spend $400,000 only to lose their legal battle to get back into the Elite Club 33 after they were banned because one of them was accused of boozy behavior. Questions or comments, put them below this. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. A file size that large, it might be very useful, but now it is gone.